What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my picks for MLB
Saturday, September 19th.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's MLB slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made.
Okay guys, let's take a look at this 11-game main slate. So at the pitcher position, if you want to pay up for pitcher, this guy's in a great spot here tonight. You got the stud Trevor Bauer with a 13% pitching advantage over the Chicago White Sox. Trevor Bauer is pitching 13% better versus righty batters, and he's only giving up a .533 OPS versus righties. He's facing 7 righties here tonight. On top of that, the White Sox have only hit 29 of his last 135 pitches. That's a .215 batting average and a huge sample size. He's $11,300 FanDuel salary and $500 less on DraftKings. He has an ERA of 1.71. His record is 4-3 on the season, pitching an average of 106 pitches per game. That is a crazy high amount of pitches per game. He's averaging 49 fantasy points per game, and he scored 56, 63, and 40 fantasy points in the last 3 games. So he's been on fire. He's in a smash spot here tonight. I'm going to give you some value plays at the other positions so you can fit Trevor Bauer into your lineup. So I like Trevor Bauer here versus the Chicago White Sox. If you're looking to pay down at pitcher, take a look at Dallas Keuchel with a small pitching advantage here versus a low salary batting team, the Cincinnati Reds. Dallas Keuchel, he pitches 2% better versus lefty batters, only giving up a .496 OPS versus lefties. And he's facing 5 lefties here tonight. On top of that, the Reds have only hit 8 of his last 44 pitches. That's a 182 batting average. So he's been fantastic here versus the Cincinnati Reds. He's only $7,800 FanDuel salary and $100 more on DraftKings. He has an ERA of 2.19. His average is 6-2 on the season, pitching an average of 88 pitches per game and averaging 30 fantasy points per game. He scored 27, 27, and 43 fantasy points in the last 3 games. So I like Dallas Keuchel here versus the Cincinnati Reds. Okay, let's take a look at the first base position. I like Brad Miller with a 57% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Mitch Keller. Brad Miller bats 30% better versus righty pitchers. He's batting a .913 OPS versus righties. And Mitch Keller throws 27% worse to lefties as he does righties. He pitches his worst ball to lefties, giving up a 1.105 OPS versus lefties. There's no at-bats versus Keller yet, but Brad Miller is only $3,000 FanDuel salary and $1,200 more on DraftKings. He's averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 3, 0, and 25 fantasy points in the last 3 games. Projected at 10.4 fantasy points here tonight. So I like Brad Miller here versus Mitch Keller.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. I'm going to give you a value play here. I like Kolten Wong with a 30% batting advantage over that same low salary pitcher, Mitch Keller. Kolten Wong bats a little bit better versus righty pitchers. He's batting a .729 OPS versus righties. And Mitch Keller, we know he throws his worst ball versus lefty batters. 27% worse than his pitch to righties, giving up a 1.105 OPS versus lefties. Kolten Wong is 1 for 2 with a 1 OPS versus Keller, and he's only $2,600 FanDuel salary and $1,300 more on DraftKings. He's averaging 8 fantasy points per game on the season, and he scored 22, 3, and 0 fantasy points in the last 3 games, projected at 10.6 fantasy points here tonight. So I like Kolten Wong here versus Mitch Keller. Okay, who do we have at the third base position? If you do have salary in your lineup because you're playing Dallas Keuchel, you're going to have a little extra salary for your batters, and I recommend and I like Manny Machado with a 44% batting advantage over Justice Sheffield. Manny Machado bats 18% better versus lefty pitchers. He's batting a 1.050 OPS versus lefties. And Justice Sheffield throws 25% worse to righties than he does lefties, giving up a .764 OPS versus righties. There's no at-bats versus Sheffield yet, and Manny Machado is $4,000 FanDuel salary and $1,400 more on DraftKings. He's averaging 15 fantasy points per game on the season, and he scored 53, 22, and 3 fantasy points in his last 3 games. He's in a pretty good spot here tonight. I don't think he's going to get 53 again, but he should hit value for his salary. So I like Manny Machado here versus Justice Sheffield. Okay, let's take a look at the shortstop position. I like Paul DeJong with a 3% batting advantage over that same pitcher, Mitch Keller. So I like the stack here versus Mitch Keller. These are relatively low salary batters that are in good spots. And Paul DeJong, he bats 30% better versus righty pitchers. He's batting a .788 OPS versus righties. And Mitch Keller, he's giving up a .808 OPS versus righties. Paul DeJong is 0 for 1 versus Keller. It's a small sample size. He's $3,000 FanDuel salary and $1,100 more on DraftKings. He's averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. He's been cold the last few games, only scoring 4, 0, and 0 fantasy points in the last 3 games. But if you're looking to save some salary to get Trevor Bauer in your lineup, I think he's a pretty decent value play here. So I like Paul DeJong here versus Mitch Keller. Okay, moving on to the outfield position. I'm going to give you another value play here. I like Adam Duvall with a 40% batting advantage over David Peterson. Adam Duvall bats 11% better versus lefty pitchers. He's batting a .942 OPS versus lefties. And David Peterson, he throws his worst ball versus righty batters. 29% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .721 OPS versus righties. Duvall is 2 for 2 with a 2.5 OPS versus Peterson. He's $3,000 FanDuel salary and $1,500 more on DraftKings. He's averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season, and he scored 9, 3, and 19 fantasy points in the last 3 games. So I like Adam Duvall here versus David Peterson.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this MLB slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.